Have you ever wondered what actually happens behind the scenes before Jimin steps onto that stage and leaves the entire world speechless? Before all the applause? Before the spotlight touches his face? Before millions of ARMY cry their hearts out watching him perform? Because trust me, none of that is magic. All of it is the result of something far more extraordinary than just talent. Today, we are going to uncover something that has been hidden for a long time. Something that even the most dedicated Jimin fans might not have fully known until now. The trainers, producers, and people who have worked directly alongside Park Jimin. They are finally speaking up. And what they have revealed is going to leave you absolutely speechless. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because content like this, you won't find anywhere else. And to those of you who have been here from the beginning, thank you for staying with us. Now, without further delay, let's get into it. Before we get to the big secret, we need to talk about who Park Jimin actually is. Because to truly understand the depth of his dedication, we have to know where he came from. Park Jimin was born on October 13th, 1995, in Busan, South Korea. He was the very last member to join BTS before the group's debut on June 13th, 2013. And here's the shocking part. Jimin only went through 6 months of training at Big Hit Entertainment. That is the shortest training period of any BTS member. 6 months. While other trainees could spend years preparing before they ever debuted. Imagine the pressure. Imagine the weight of those expectations sitting on his shoulders. Imagine what it felt like, knowing he was the newcomer among friends who had been training far longer than him. But that is exactly where something extraordinary was born. Because instead of crumbling under that pressure, Jimin used it as fuel. He understood that he had to work twice as hard, 3 times as hard, even 10 times as hard as everyone else around him. Within BTS, Jimin holds the position of lead vocalist and main dancer. And for those of you who understand the K-pop world, you know that the position of main dancer is not something just anyone can hold. It is a role that demands your body, your mind, and your soul every single day without rest. The other BTS members themselves have openly admitted that Jimin is one of the hardest working people among them. They've said that Jimin can practice nonstop every single day whenever he has free time. He would even use his rest periods to train, just so he could master a song or a routine that little bit better. This is not just a motivational story someone made up. This is a fact confirmed directly by the people who lived alongside Jimin for years. Now, this is where we get to the heart of this video. The name Ma Sunho might not ring a bell for most of you, but in the world of K-pop and Korean fitness, he is very well known. He is the trusted fitness trainer who has accompanied BTS members through their physical journey, including Jimin. In July 2025, a conversation went viral in a way nobody expected. Jungkook, a former idol and one of Korea's most recognizable fitness figures, was having a video call with Ma Sunho on his YouTube channel. And in that conversation, Ma Sunho revealed something that shook the entire BTS fandom. He disclosed that at that time, 5 BTS members, Jimin, Jungkook, RM, Taehyung, and Suga, had already started training together in Los Angeles. But what made it fascinating wasn't just the fact that they were working out together. What made it remarkable was how it all started. At first, it was only Jungkook and Taehyung who showed up to train. Then, according to Ma Sunho, they were having so much fun that the very next day, Namjoon joined in. And the day after that, Jimin and Suga came along too. Think about that for a moment. This wasn't a rigidly scheduled workout forced onto them by management. This was a group of young men who genuinely loved the process, who found joy in sweat and hard work, who lit each other's fire just by being in the same room. But that was only the surface of what Ma Sunho revealed. In September 2025, Ma Sunho uploaded a gym vlog on his YouTube channel that immediately made the internet explode. In the 20-minute video, he showed the world exactly how BTS was training in Los Angeles as they prepared for their massive comeback. And in that vlog, he revealed a daily routine that stunned everyone who watched it. The BTS training schedule, including Jimin, consisted of jogging at 6 in the morning every single day, a weightlifting session in the morning, music production and choreography practice throughout the day, and then a second workout session again at night. Listen carefully to that. 2 full training sessions in one day, morning and night, on top of choreography rehearsals in between. This is not the schedule of an average idol. This is the schedule of a world-class athlete. And Ma Sun-ho said clearly to Korean media, "I didn't come here for a vacation. The BTS members are working on their music in LA, and I'm here to help them train. I design workout programs, guide them through their routines, and they are all extremely passionate and hardworking." Extremely passionate, extremely hardworking. Not from a manager trying to sell their client. Not from a publicist crafting an image. But from a trainer who saw it with his own eyes. Every single day, every drop of sweat, every single rep. But Jimin's dedication is not only about the physical. It is not only about muscles and stamina. Jimin's dedication lives in every note he sings. In every word he records in the studio. In every late night, he spends perfecting something that is already nearly perfect. Dog, one of the most legendary music producers at HYB, the label behind BTS, once spoke openly about the process of making Jimin's second solo album, Muse, which was released in July 2024. And what he said will make you understand Jimin on an entirely different level. Dog revealed that Jimin practiced and recorded the songs for Muse right up until the moment he enlisted in the military. Read that again. Right up until the moment he enlisted. Not a week before, not a month before, until the very last second he possibly could. And Dog didn't stop there. He continued, saying that for a producer, there is nothing better than an artist who works hard, and that Jimin constantly puts in the effort to improve himself. That even when there was nothing left to promote, he continued vocal training right up to his enlistment, as if he felt compelled to do so. As if he felt compelled to do so. That is an extraordinary thing to say, because it describes something beyond discipline. It describes someone who cannot help but work hard. Someone whose very soul is wired to the process of becoming better. The second producer, jhope, added something even more stunning. He explained why the Muse album has an acoustic remix, something very few albums actually have. The reason? Because Jimin practiced so intensely and so relentlessly that entirely new versions emerged. Versions too beautiful and too alive not to be recorded. jhope said that the whole reason there is an acoustic remix to begin with is because Jimin practiced so much that it would have been a waste not to record something. Picture that. You practice a song. You practice again, and again, and again, until a version emerges so breathtaking, so different, so full of life, that the entire production team decides it would be a sin to leave it unrecorded. That is what happened with Jimin and Muse. The acoustic remix was never part of the plan from the beginning. It was the fruit of a dedication that outgrew everyone's expectations. But Jimin's story of dedication did not end in the recording studio or the gym. On December 12, 2023, Jimin enrolled for mandatory military service alongside Jungkook through the buddy system, a system that allows close friends to serve together and share the weight of the rigorous training. And what happened next? Of course, Jimin did not simply get through his military service like an average recruit. In January 2024, after completing 5 weeks of basic training, his division commander honored Jimin as the best trainee in his entire unit. He received the honor of exemplary with a commendation from the division commander, a recognition given to those who demonstrate extraordinary dedication and outstanding physical resilience. The best trainee, out of every single recruit in his unit. A K-pop idol, someone who could have easily just scraped by, chose instead to be the absolute best. And it didn't stop there. That commendation made Jimin eligible for promotion to the rank of corporal a full 2 months earlier than the scheduled date. 2 months early, because his performance was simply too exceptional to be ignored. The army fandom erupted across every corner of social media with pride. One viral tweet read, "Jimin is excelling as usual." And that is the truth. Because Jimin's dedication is not something he switches on only when cameras are rolling. It is the most fundamental part of who he is. Even inside a military barracks, far from media spotlights, far from millions of fans, he remained exactly the same person. Someone who never gives anything less than everything. And when Jimin sent a New Year's letter to Army in January 2025 from inside the military, he wrote something deeply honest and moving. He admitted that there was a feeling that was a little scary, that it had been quite a while since they performed together, and a while since they devoted their time to performance and music, so he felt a little scared. But he held firm to his resolve. writing that he would not change his mind about giving the best performance for everyone who had waited, that he would work hard to prepare, and that he would truly try his hardest. A man already acknowledged by the world as one of the greatest performers of his generation, still afraid, still feeling the need to prove himself, still making the promise to try his hardest. That is Jimin. On March 21st, 2026, BTS held their historic concert, BTS Comeback Live, Arirang, at Gwangwon Square in Seoul. The event coincided with the release of BTS's fifth full album, also titled Arirang, the day before, marking the group's complete comeback after nearly 3 years and 9 months away. All of the preparation was carried out in secrecy and with extraordinary discipline. According to reports from Chosun Ilbo, rehearsals took place under tight security, and the members, including Jimin, threw themselves into the process with a ferocity that left those around them in awe. When Jimin finally stood on that stage, after more than a year in the military, after weeks of intense preparation, after everything he had sacrificed, no one in the world could question that he had given everything he had. And the world watched the result. Because when we talk about Jimin and dedication, the track record speaks entirely for itself. Jimin is the first solo K-pop artist to reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, achieving that milestone with Like Crazy from his debut solo album Face. His second album, Muse, recorded until his final moment of freedom before military service, received an overwhelming response from fans and critics worldwide. In 2025, for the second consecutive year, Jimin won the title of Most Beautiful and Handsome Face in K-pop, with over 250,000 votes, not only because of his looks, but because of the complete package he presents as an artist. In August 2025, BTS as a whole achieved the highest daily streaming count on Spotify at 13.2 million streams, and Jimin's name sits right at the center of that achievement. And beyond the stage, Jimin is known for his quiet generosity, having silently donated 100 million Korean won to underprivileged students in Jeonbuk, a gesture that reveals something profound. Behind all the stage lights and applause, there is a man with a genuinely humble and sincere heart. Now, after hearing all of this, from the trainers, from the producers, from the undeniable record of what he has accomplished, there is one question we need to answer together. What actually makes Jimin different? Because honestly, there are thousands of talented people in this world, thousands of hardworking people, thousands of people with enormous dreams, but not all of them reach what Jimin has reached. So what is the secret? Jimin proves that dedication beats talent. He entered BTS with the shortest training period of anyone. Technically, he was the least prepared member when the group debuted, but he never let that become an excuse. Instead, he turned it into rocket fuel. Trainer Ma Sun-ho did not praise Jimin's natural gifts. He praised his passion, his relentless work ethic, his unshakable desire to keep growing. Producer Dog did not call Jimin the most technically gifted vocalist he had ever encountered. He called Jimin the artist who kept pushing himself to be better, even when nobody was making him. The second lesson is that consistency is everything. CrossFit sessions, morning runs, weightlifting, vocal training, choreography, re-recording, and recording again. This is not something Jimin does occasionally when he feels like it. This is his lifestyle. This is his identity. And the results speak for themselves. A body always in peak condition, a voice that grows richer from album to album, stage performances that become more breathtaking with every passing year. The third lesson is that humility is what keeps you from ever stopping. Jimin is one of the most celebrated performers on the planet, and yet he still writes letters saying he is a little scared and that he will try his hardest. That is not weakness. That is his greatest strength. Because the moment you believe you are good enough, you stop growing. But the person who always feels there is more room to improve, they keep rising. And the fourth lesson is that there is no stage too small to give your full heart to. In a military barracks, far from cameras, far from millions of army, Jimin still became the best trainee in his unit. Because for him, every single moment is an opportunity to give the best of himself. There is no situation too ordinary to deserve maximum effort. Park Jimin is not just a K-pop idol. He is living proof of what becomes possible when a person chooses never to surrender to a lesser version of themselves. From a young man from Busan who had the shortest training period in his own group, to the first solo K-pop artist to reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. From someone who trained until the very last second before entering the military, to the holder of the honor of exemplary from his division commander. From someone who admitted he was a little scared, to one of the most breathtaking performers ever to stand on a music stage anywhere in the world. And today, with the Erarang album marking the full return of BTS, Jimin's stands before the world once more. Not as someone who merely survived, but as someone who forged himself in the hottest fire and came out as pure gold. You and I, we may never stand on a stage as large as the one Jimin stands on. We may never hear the roar of hundreds of thousands of people calling our name. But the lessons Jimin gives us apply everywhere. At your job, in your school, in your relationships, in the dream you are quietly chasing in the middle of the night when nobody is watching. Dedication is not about talent. It is not about luck. It is not about an opportunity that falls from the sky. Dedication is a choice we make every single day. The choice to get up and train even when we are exhausted. The choice to try one more time even after we have failed. The choice to give our very best, even when there is nobody watching. That is the great secret that Jimin's trainers and producers have finally revealed. Not a magic formula, not a hidden trick, but something far simpler and far more valuable. Relentless hard work, consistency without compromise, and a heart that never stops believing. If this video inspired you, don't forget to leave a like and share it with someone who needs a little motivation today. Drop a comment below and tell me, what do you think is the single most extraordinary moment in Jimin's journey? And if you haven't subscribed yet, the button is right there below this video. We'll see you in the next one. Until then, remember, just like Jimin, always give the best of yourself. Purple Heart.